kind of changed directions a little bit, and I working on shoes have opened a door in my life for some of the things I've gone through, and there's articles and things that I've said that are uncomfortable conversations that I've experienced in life. And there's a lot of people that come to these events and I get to meet that also go through some of those same experiences. And it's great to talk to them and help them and motivate them to get through their challenging times. But when I do go home and I eat by myself and I start to work on things and like that song comes on, like I do get kind of caught up.
Yeah.
And I haven't had those feelings in so long because, it's my 25th year in the industry of being a retailer and a buyer, a skater, a shoe salesman, all the above. I closed those doors for a long time because there is no bank that supports me. There's no investment group. I'm not owned by Amazon, and I have to keep my head there. I have to keep working because if I let off the gas, and my whole team, they depend on me.
Right, exactly.
All right. What's up, everybody? We are starting the show now. If you don't know who I am, my name's Haas. I host My First Kicks. We're recording this for this episode. It's going to be episode 218. And this, for the first time ever, we are doing My First Sneaky League. And because of that, let me bring on E and Janelle. Because from My First Sneaky League podcast.
Woo! You made it. Do all these mics work? Which mics work and which ones don't?
All of them work now.
Oh, all of them work. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Woo, can we sit?
Sit. We might have to switch these mics though.
No, that's fine. Oh, yeah, this one's good.
So, if you're not familiar with us, we all us three, we started podcasting. I don't know. What are you going to say?
This is going to be 219 for you? 218. We're barely about hitting 80 episodes. For us, it's about a year and a half. So you're definitely, 3-4 years into this? 5?
5 years.
Oh, wow.
5 years into this. And it's funny, last year I hit up Phil being like, I would love to have you on an episode. And so now we're here.
Wait, so you haven't had Phil on your podcast yet? Okay. Wow, Phil, we feel so special. Yeah, we had Phil on last year.
I broke the piggy racer.
The piggy racers, yes. Very good shoe.
Since we mentioned him twice, let's clap it up. And let's bring Phil on.
Let's bring Phil up.
Yeah. No, this is the one.
Okay. Woo!
Hi, guys.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to My First Sneaky League.
My first sneaky.
Thank you for having me. It's a true honor to be here. Shout out to you guys for all the content you create, all the hard work and behind the scenes bullshit you put up with to make a hillbilly like me look cool on the internet. So, round of applause for these guys.
Thank you.
It's not easy to get exposure or in the limelight or even kind of get into this industry and get rolling. So the fact that you guys carved out your own lane, you've got your own following, Haas, your interviews are amazing, girls. You're always stunning. So I'm a big fan. So it's amazing to be here.
No, we're huge fans of you. Your storytelling is second to none. The way you connect with the community is also second to none. I feel that now, especially since of last week, we've seen how people have been following you and getting behind you, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for that we're very proud of you, and we feel that we are part of your journey as well.
At this point, definitely at this point, you've made us a part of it, and we want to thank you for bringing us out and everything that you've done for us and the community.
Absolutely. I just think, sorry to cut you off there. No, I think it's important for brands or designers or whatever the hell I am to really respect and bring you guys along for the ride, because at the end of the day, like you said, it is a community and it's a culture, and it's constantly getting bought out and paid for, and a lot of fake stuff that goes on.
Oh, yeah.
And when it's organic and it's true and it's meaningful, it's impactful. And to me, that's always the biggest thing, is to be impactful.
Yeah.
Working with you all has changed lives and opened up doors for people here in our city. And it's all about just making an impact.
Well, go ahead, because I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off.
It's a fresh air to have these type of speakers in the community like that. Like, one of the stories from many of are always so relatable to real life situations and events and stuff. But honestly, like, they all just look so
Gorgeous.
Yeah. You created some of the best shoe boxes.
Oh, hands down.
They are always known as the special boxes in particular.
Amazing.
Yeah, Chevy Kiss.
This and building bridges boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, man!
Yeah.
Like, I was so jealous. I couldn't come, and then also I didn't get them, and then I watched everybody get them, and then I was like, I need to get them. So they're on my reach back list.
I have to search eBay for a pair for you.
Yes, please.
I've been searching eBay for a pair of the purple grandma couches
Oh.
2 years now, and I cannot find my size. Or like, I want a special box too, but yeah. Besides that, I was gonna say, I think it's the relatability,
Yes.
stories that you tell, that people resonate with it so much, which is why they hit. Like, the detail, the craftsmanship, everything that you put into the shoe really shows. But it's the stories that you tell through your life and your family and through your lens, and people really relate to that. And like, I think it's not just like another shoe you're pumping out just to put out. Like, it's amazing, and I'm sure like you want to put out as much as you can because it's your art and it's a part of you. But it really is just like that little soft spot in everyone's hearts of like, we all have our grandma and our mom and our sisters and everybody, and you hit that nail on the head. Even with the building bridges and like being close to your city, like that really showed out for the people around you.
Yeah. I mean, and since we touched on, well, I don't know if you want to build up on that or like expand on that. I did want to ask you guys, because we talked about our matriarchs, like, do you all have a story, a sneaker story that, you know, surrounds, the people in the mothers in your life?
Do you want to tell yours?
Oh, we can talk about mine. I guess I'll go first. I'm the one asking the question. So basically, it's also my first kick story, right? Like, I have this podcast, and I ask everybody what's that first sport they absolutely need to have, right? I grew up an only child, so I only know my mom. Basically, my mom raised me, so my mom and my aunt raised me together. And one Christmas, I begged her for a pair of Jordans, because my best friend, my childhood best friend who passed away last year, he got the 13s. No, he got the 14s, the one with the tampons on the side. Which one's those? That's what I call them, tampon Jordans. The fronts and who got games. That's 13 or 14.
The Flints and he got games at 13.
Okay, so he got the 13s, right? So he got the 13s, and I begged my mom for a pair of Jordans. Christmas comes around, and she gets me the latest Jordans. She was like, oh my God, he's gonna be so excited. So I opened the box, and they were the 14, black 14s, the quilts. They were like quilts on the top. I was like, oh my God,
You were like the avocado kid.
that was avocado kid.
You've never seen the avocado kid where they give him they wrapped up an avocado as a gift and handed it to him, and he opened it and he said, an avocado. Thanks. And just put it to the side. I swear to God, the avocado kid is so cute. Yeah, he's happy, but but I really don't have like a sneaker story like that per se, where it was like, oh my God, my family bought me my favorite pair of Jordans when I was in high school. I wasn't wearing Jordans in high school. I was a Converse girl. I wore Osiris's and Etnies, skater shoes. So, but I always, like, when I do think about shoes and my mom, because I feel like she had a lot of shoes, but I would make fun of her because I'm like, all you have are the same brown work looking shoes, but 100 different pairs. But my first memory is like, I grew up in a little town, I grew up on a reservation and everything, and we had a Nike outlet, but we also had a Payless, and we didn't have a lot of money, so we were at Payless all the time, and like, that is my memory, like with my mother and shoes, going to Payless, was that smell, was putting on like those shoes, getting your 1 or 2 pair of shoes for the school year and everything. But, you know, I think it's one of those things where most of our moms, you know, made sure we were taken care of and got the things that we wanted or close to. But yeah, shout out moms.
Well, be sure to stay inside.
Uh-huh.
Oh, like, I like those. Can I have them? There was one in particular though, like years and years ago, I had actually posted my first like pair of Meds, like a year contact page,
Yeah.
tools and everything. And one with in particular had this new kid from the first one, right? And I wanted them so bad, it was $100. I was like, oh, I'm gonna leave. I don't afford it right now. I was like, okay, I'll come back, whatever. Later in the evening, I come back and they're gone. They're sold. Oh my gosh, someone picked them up, whatever. And this event was like in November-ish, I believe. And my Christmas comes around. And she ended up
Oh my God.
I bought them this whole time. I was like, oh my God. So that was
See, I would cry. I wouldn't cry for the 14s that I got, but I'd cry for that. What about you, Phil?
So we never really got new shoes for Christmas or birthdays or nothing. I told a story on Erica's poem that one year we got oranges. That was like a big gift. Basically, I was one of those kids that got one pair of shoes for the year, or I had to get a pair of shoes that was like handed down.
Yeah.
But once I got my skateboard and I started skateboarding, I immediately started skating with, things that were older than me and that were sponsored. So I started getting what was called hand-me-downs.
Oh, yeah.
I started kicking this stuff down. And then skate shoes at that time, 97, 98, 99 were $100, $120 each.
Yeah.
So that was like impossible to get. So right up the road was a place called Value City, which would probably be like a Ross or something.
Yeah. Clap it up for Value City if you're. There you go.
I don't know, that's a Cincinnati thing. Basically, I was that kid that tried to be different than all the other skaters. So instead of having the new DCs or the new S, I went to Value City and bought the 1999 rivalries or this, and 9 times out of 10 they were like white pairs that were faded, had some yellowing, but immediately we took them and started coloring them, writing, kind of like the cast where you got everybody's signature. Yeah, that was super huge, like skating. So I was just that kid that kind of had to fake it till he made it at an early age with the shoes. So not like, because even at that age and at that time, it was like, oh, you don't have the new 12s or the new 13s. Yeah. Or you don't have the new Iversons. Like, you really got made fun of. And then I constantly started buying these Adidas shoes, and I just kind of had this like weird organic relationship with the brand before I even knew it was ever going to turn into something. Yeah. And then, about a year into skateboarding, I kind of blew up in my local scene. One of my best friends here, Frog, has like held me down since day one. Failing workshop. Specifically, so it was like he would get a box of shoes, get a box of boards, and then like I take one and give the 5 others away. So it's kind of like kicking it back immediately. And then once I started running skate shops and starting skate brands, and you always try to be like.
You really think that you can keep watching this episode without subscribing, or leaving a comment? Come on, man. And also, if you've been listening to this episode, leave a review. But back to the episode.
The next one up to like have a cooler pair of shoes than somebody else. So then you started skating stuff that wasn't a skate shoe that stand out. But
that's super interesting, especially like skating Adidas. When growing up, I didn't really see a lot of that. Like all the skater kids were doing like Jordans and stuff like that, but when you'd see somebody skating Adidas, it did be like, oh, you really skating those? Like you'd stop them and be like, yeah, are you skating those? The person who got on a skateboard and busted his ass, and so he never I never got back on. I was just like, Lupe came out kick push, and I tried to kick push, and I was like, nah, that's not me. But like, how does it feel to have like a full circle moment, being able to revisit a rivalry?
I mean, it's astonishing. It's breathtaking. It's my whole life I've always had this chip on my shoulder and always believed in myself and always bet on myself. And I knew like just keep working at it, keep digging at it. I can't read, I can't write, I'm dyslexic, and I mispronounce things all the time. But one thing I do notice that I have a gift at is my imagination, my creativity. But also like walking and like visualizing and seeing things. Like when I walk through cities or towns or people's houses, I take like mental snapshots all the time. And one thing that really stood out to me growing up, while I was failing math class as a senior, was there was a picture of a guy digging in the ground for a diamond, and he almost was about to hit it, and then the other guy quit.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I just have always had this idea, like, don't give up. Like one day, you get your 15 seconds, and like all you got to do is just capitalize on that 15 seconds. And I believe that's why we specifically in the brand we heard of has had so much success with so many individuals like you see here that rocking my hats, rocking my shoes, is because like they see a little piece of themselves in me, because they see like hard work does pay off. And like to not give up. And I'm constantly always, if it's on social media or in person, always saying like, yo, I'm fighting for the little guy.
Yeah, you are.
I'm always gonna like fight for the underdog, and because if it's the same four people every time that every blog talks about or whatever, then it's not fun anymore and it's not impactful. So I think when they see how much work we put into me and my entire team.
Shout out to the team.
Yeah, the whole Unheard of team. Earnhardt, Jad, Brady, Bobby, but Chad, Dog. But it starts there, like believing in yourself and not giving up on yourself, and the hard work and the dedication, and then you can build an army around that. And I think that's what Unheard of's really been successful at, is just building this real core organic community, like you all said earlier, and this real foundation of like belief and self, awareness and self-pride, but also going back and sprinkling it to uplift some of the other people, in Cincinnati or in Chicago or St. Louis or West Virginia, Lexington, all come here,
No, I was going to say, you've made this a destination, which is extremely hard to do, especially within sneakers, right? We're both from big cities, right? The way that we look at it is, I feel like I don't know if you can agree with this, but when you're in New York, I see a lot of the same faces all the time.
Yeah.
And they feel they should be there because they've been in this long enough, and which causes other brands to be like, yeah, just give it to them, instead of let's give it a chance to somebody who's trying to make a name for themselves into this, because they're going to put their all to make their name. So it's you've totally differentiated yourselves, and I'm big on that. I'm the one that I feel like I differentiated myself when I started my podcast. So.
I want to get back to you talking about you have the visual creativity and everything. When you were creating the original grandma shoe set, did you know it was going to end up here with a Mother's Day shoe a few years later? Was that always in your vision and the horizon, or?
Yeah, I mean, when I first sat down with Adidas, I definitely wrote Star Wars right off rip. And chapter 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Like, there's the prequel and the whatever. But anyways, I had no idea. And like I have more ideas for Grandma, and I'm constantly drawing and doodling and writing things down, and like I said, taking those mental snapshots. But I really, after this release, sat down with her and said, "Okay, Grandma, like, we're going to do a Mother's Day shoe. We're going to do this one more time for Mother's Day." And she immediately looked at me and grabbed my arm and she said, "Oh, honey, I can't sign no more autographs." She legit signed, 300 people's boxes. She took pictures for 4 hours. She talked to everybody. And she definitely was like blown away about how many people showed up. And that people would wait an hour in line to say hello to her. And she was like, I can never do that again. My heart still hurts. So what that did is that put okay, I can't drag my feet here, right? I got to capitalize on this momentum. Clock is obviously ticking. At this point, she was 101 months old. And I brought flowers over, I brought my computer over, we printed out coloring sheets of the shoe, and we just went to work. And we started mocking things up, and it actually was supposed to come out Mother's Day 2024, but Grandma actually passed in December, and there's no way I was ready for that. And we pressed pause and kind of changed directions a little bit, and I working on shoes have opened a door in my life for some of the things I've gone through. And there's articles and things that I've said that are uncomfortable conversations that I've experienced in life. And there's a lot of people that come to these events and I get to meet that also go through some of those same experiences. And it's great to talk to them and help them and motivate them to get through their challenging times. But when I do go home and I eat by myself and I start to work on things and like that song comes on, like I do get kind of caught up. And I haven't had those feelings in so long because, this is my 25th year in the industry of being a retailer and a buyer, a skater, a shoe salesman, all the above. I closed those doors for a long time because there is no bank that supports me. There's no investment group. I'm not going to buy Amazon, and I have to keep my head there. I have to keep working because if I let off the gas, and my whole team, they depend on me.
Right, exactly.
Some of these guys I've brought up through, the trenches as well. So, working on these projects definitely kind of opened up some closed doors and made me think about stuff, which is good because it's good to get it out, but it's good to get it out on my art. And it just was a little too challenging to have it for 2024. It was just too close to home.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also peeped that you threw the first shoelaces, the new pair. And
very jealous.
Okay,
that's fire.
That was a nice one swap.
Yeah, so just real quick, these are the original purple laces from the first Grandma's Couch, which purple is Grandma's favorite color. She's all over the internet saying that. And then the lace charm, I got the fly on there. So Erica's with me too. And then, the 3 stripes. Obviously, there's a red stripe in the middle that a lot of people are like, why is there one red stripe? But just to say that, we're connected by blood. We're together on this shoe. 3 shoes, 3 stripes. It's been 3 chapters, about 3 different women in my life that the whole shoe's been about. Just a lot of little Easter eggs that I'm constantly, throwing out there to.
About to make me cry on the stage, man.
Everything is very intentional. Everything is very intentional.
Told you, Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I love it.
I just hope you are Anakin. No. Are you Anakin? No.
All of them. Darth, Anakin, Luke. Obi-Wan,
Chewbacca, the Ewoks, Jar Jar Binks.
I'm definitely not Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is best for nice kicks.
Not Dez. These are some nice kicks. Since we are talking about feet, what do you got on feet?
Oh, okay. I was also going to segue.
Let me make an adjustment.
Obviously, we have two colorways that are the property of house. Can you talk about?
You don't want to see the blue box.
And then we'll get into the green.
Yeah, I'm trying to take them out.
Yeah, so the pink pair basically is, in my eyes, exactly what all rivalry should be. Just breathtaking and stunning. But with premium pink suede, we colored it up pink because one year I bought my grandma an orchid. She taught me about the orchid and how to take care of orchids. There's this real funny story about how she never wanted real flowers, she always wanted silk flowers because we were poor and she said we were just wasting our money on something that was going to die anyways. And my mom would always fight with her about it because she would take flowers to see my sister. So my mom always took fresh flowers, which she probably asked my grandma for $20 to buy them. So I started buying grandma real flowers, constantly bringing her real flowers just on Saturday or Sunday to come see her. But one time I bought her this orchid, and she taught me about orchids, and she got me an orchid. And she just told me that her favorite orchid was a light pink orchid, and how they all the petals will fall off. It looks like it's dead, but then it'll rebloom to never give up on it, which kind of symbolizes what she's done to me. I was a really bad kid growing up, and she just never gave up on me and kept believing in me, and I just keep believing that. So yeah, it's just the inspiration from the pink orchid, and then the green pair that was shock dropping, which is limited to only 100 pairs. It is the color of like basically the leaves and the stems and the growth of the orchid or any flower of that matter. It's just about new beginnings, new growth, coming in story. But yeah, those are the two colors.
I love it. The green is absolutely amazing. I might be biased because green is my favorite color, but as soon as you had showed us these like 2 weeks ago and told us that there was a second shoe, like my jaw was on the floor. I think the pink, they're both actually very beautiful shoes, but like I said, I'm a little biased, and I think that the green just has like such a beautiful pop to it. I love it.
Well, I owe the perfect colors first and foremost to Grandma because she picked out all the pink tones. Portland at the creation team, which the shoes are mostly designed by female base. So Caroline and Stacy went to bat to make sure the factory executed every one of my demands because the first couple rivalries didn't make it as far as they should have. These were supposed to be big suede, and because they ran through washers, they kept failing tests, and it was running out of time. So we stayed with the tumbled leather, but originally they were supposed to be big suede. And then once they saw the reaction and everybody going viral with the shoe, they were like, all right, we don't care how many samples, what it takes. If you want big suede, we're getting big suede. So Caroline and Stacy, they got the colors right. We literally sent them flowers to match the Pantones as best as they can. And on the box, if you see where it says supplier color or SUP color, that's because it's not like an Adidas Pantone. It's a custom Pantone. So these Pantones are custom to Grandma's coloring. And I just really didn't understand that process, and we couldn't name them cool names, and I kind of ran out of time. There are unique colors to these particular shoes. Basically in the Adidas catalog.
That's Really cool.
That is awesome. And honestly, I love that it ended up working out with the two different textures of leathers. I think it separated the shoes from feeling so similar. It gives them like that, that little differential aspect. But I think it's also, we've seen a lot of, not like a ton, but like we have seen shoes that have florals in them. And sometimes it's really hard to like get it right. Sometimes it's like too much floral. Sometimes it just doesn't look good. But I've done it time and time again, and it's executed so well every time. It's not overdone. It's not tacky. It's done eloquently and beautifully.
Can you also speak to the special boxes?
Yeah.
Yes. They're different from that first round.
Yeah, so First Grandma's Couch is 100% inspired by the couch, right? The plastic cover on the couch. Now, I'll be honest, I've said this multiple times. My grandma never had a plastic cover on her couch. The couch was like off limits. And they bought one couch for their entire lifespan in their house. They had it reupholstered a bunch. I know plastic covers, what they mean to people with couches and stuff. I had a friend whose mom had a plastic cover on the couch, and then most of us would have like a bed sheet over the couch because you couldn't afford the plastic cover. But I wasn't gonna like put a white cloth around you. But 100% special box, kind of inspired by the plastic couch cover. Like I said, my friend like K-Pack and them, they had the plastic cover. We had sheets over it. But the box itself is all of a watercolor that my grandpa made for my grandma on Mother's Day. That's where we kind of teased the Mother's Day shoe. It back was like the Mother's Day gift that he gave her was on that box. And then as far as this box goes, when Grandpa passed, he left a briefcase for me. He's kind of like a failed artist. He went to Baker Hunt Art School, couldn't afford it. They kind of said he wasn't talented enough to be there, so he became a janitor. So he worked to teach himself how to draw and paint. Wow. He was really prideful of his work, but he was also kind of embarrassed sometimes about his work. I think he like set a goal of where he wanted to get to, and couldn't quite get there. And then when he passed, obviously, before he passed, I took this watercolor painting, and it's like one of my prized possessions in my house now. But when he passed, he left me this briefcase, and there were multiple watercolors that I've never seen before. Okay, wow. That he preserved for me specifically to have when the time came. And he had been telling me about this for a few years, and I never believed him. Because all he ever had out were like adult coloring books. And granted, my grandpa was 98 years old, coloring and trying to draw and stuff.
So you could tell that was like a passion of his.
Oh, 100%.
You know, you said like a failed artist, but I mean that's just like I guess society would label him that. But I mean, look at what you've done with him.
Yeah, exactly. You've been able to.
I don't think that's a failed artist.
No, 100%. No, I agree. I think he's an amazing artist. I had no idea, and once I opened up this briefcase, I was like, yep, I know exactly what to do, how to do it. And so basically these boxes have new artwork that like a lot of the family have never seen before. We digitized them, we scanned them, brought them to life. And then basically the box itself, my grandma was never one to go buy herself new jewelry or new makeup. Grandpa definitely didn't buy her new jewelry or new makeup. They lived a very tight budget, and they were very godly and very, I guess is the word, but I started making money, and then every Christmas or birthday or Mother's Day, like when me and Mary would go on a trip, putting her, Chanel makeup back. Her favorite thing was hotel.
Told you, I will steal a hotel lotion. All right, I will steal it. I still used one from the last time, from staying over here last time.
we decked her out in all Chanel and cup and stuff. Packaging was really beautiful. So my grandma never had like a makeup box or a jewelry box. So the idea was to make a makeup box or a jewelry box. Kind of a little Louis Vuitton inspired or very art inspired, but truthfully it's more inspired just by that beautiful wooden antique style of box that maybe some people would sneak into their grandma's room or their mom's room or their aunt's room that had like the bougie aunt and like, don't go in there, those are my prized possessions.
Yeah.
That's what really means to me to the box is just like, it's a prized possession like box. The shoes should, in my eyes, be a prized possession just because of the quality and the materials that are on the shoe and how delicate they are to getting scuffed or getting dirty.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just went rose gold out to celebrate life. Most people drink rosé on Mother's Day or Easter or birthday.
Yeah, the rose gold.
We make the hardware rose gold and the hardware on the box rose gold too.
The way that you're continuously spreading the stories from your family, like it's super commendable, like finding your grandfather's art, like, not many people can say that, not many people can, like,
get into something bigger than that.
Yeah. My mom and my dad had me when they were later in their years. So I never got to meet my grandmother or my grandfather. So all I got are the stories that my mom would tell me, right? And so, my mom's from Brazil. She left from Brazil to come here. Made her own life with a little bit of money. So being able to hear how they worked on the farm and trying to pass that on, I don't have anything, I don't have anything tangible. So for you to find that and and turn that into, an actual pieces, you know what I mean? It's beautiful.
And conversations like that make me feel guilty because I've had my grandma for 40 years, and she was functioning and with it for 100 years and 6 months of her entire life. And, not like you said, you never met your grandma. To me, my grandma was my biggest supporter, my biggest advocate, my toughest critic. And, I do get guilty when people like yourself tell me, I never got to experience that. Because I have grandma on my dad's side who basically, when I showed up, said, get out of my house.
Yeah.
And then I have my grandma who's like, okay, we can bring all these rugrat misfit kids in my house. Shoes are off, boards are outside.
Don't sit on the couch.
You want a turkey sandwich or a ham sandwich? I got purple drink or I got orange juice. So that's what I love about connecting with people and grandmas or whatever, a female in their life is that was a safe spot. So sorry we didn't have that experience, but wanting to know you're exactly who I would bring over and be like, yo, grandma, this is my boss. And she'd be like, you want turkey? Or you want and you're like, I can't eat ham. She'd be like, why? Why?
No, I'll be in ham. I'm eating that ham sandwich.
Yours is low.
Yeah, yours is low. Too low.
Okay, you can go. I wanted to go off on Hans because I've had great relationships with my grandma, both of them actually. I have a third one too, and she's still alive. But my other two grandmas have passed away. My first grandma on my dad's side, she passed away when I was really young. I was my dog. So I go into her house, she'd give me those Kool-Aids that you can put little things in and stuff. Every time I cry, whatever, that was my girl. My mom's mom recently passed away about 3 years ago now, so I was able to have her in my adult life, which was very nice, but it's always hard when they pass away. And I love bringing in my family and my grandmothers and everything that I do. I literally have them tatted on me, and they're both rings that I've gotten from both of them, and one of them is a mother's ring and stuff, so they're on me forever. But also my sweater is my grandma's.
Oh, you did say that.
She that I kind of got from her when she passed away too. So I kind of rummaged through her closet.
I love that. I love that. Oh, since you're telling grandma stories, I lost my grandma about a decade ago, 2014. She was always very influential and big in my life. I will say though, it's really weird to see where I'm at now and what I'm doing with sneakers and shoes and how it's a passion of mine and such a big part of my life. My grandma was very religious in Christianity. She was a pastor like growing up. And not that I have really big feet. I have average feet, but like for some reason when I was younger, everyone made me feel like I had big feet, besides the point. My grandma would always read the scriptures to me, and I've never told, I don't really talk about this with anybody. I haven't even told you guys. But she would always tell me how beautiful are the feet of them that bring good news, which is like a scripture. And she would always tell me that when I was little. I have it in a plaque, and my mom always reminds me that. And it's so crazy to me, that my grandma put that on me at such a young age, and that beautiful blessing and that scripture and that discernment, and that I'm literally bringing news and footwear and all of it tying in together. And it's really weird to me when I think about it, because that was just something she told me to make me feel better, I guess, because I was insecure about my feet when I was little. But it's just such a beautiful thing that came directly from my grandmother. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly why I wanted to tell this story and work on this shoe. Exactly what we're doing right now. We're remembering the good times, right? Great things happen to us in our lives, and I think constantly we are being told or maybe being influenced to focus on so much negativity, not specifically in our lives, but in the world. And that's why I wanted to focus on telling a story of my grandma and my upbringing, because I want you to have those good memories of what your grandma was like to you, what your mom and grandma was like to you, and how hard you look with your tattoo, Hoss, I'm still gonna get a hand sandwich.
I'm gonna get that hand sandwich tattooed on me. It's beautiful. I think family is something that, we don't take granted enough, I talked about losing my childhood best friend, in that sneaker story. And so that hurt me tremendously, because to me, me and him, we were both the only only child. I was gonna say only. It's hard to say only child apparently, but so to me, that's like blood to me, So it's when you lose somebody, it's the hardest. I feel like when they're super close to you, it's so hard. But to forever continue to tell that story is what's important, because we can, especially now, you're making livable stories. People get to put that on and be like, yo, for his grandma, though, Although I don't know if they would say it that way.
Well, the cool thing is, there has been times, in New York, I'd be walking down the street, and I'll see someone in grandma's couches, and I'll just kind of walk up, not hey, I'm Philip Lipschultz, but just walk up to kind of see if there's any interaction. Yeah. And the couple of times that I've done that, a random stranger will blow past me, shoulder check the shit out of me, and be like, wow, your shoes are really cute. What are those? And be like, oh, these are grandma's couches. Yeah, these are about a grandma, and I wanted to get them because I miss my grandma. And then I just kept it moving. Never even said hi to the person. Person didn't know it was me, and that's exactly what I wanted to create. It was just something that brings joy to somebody, because I know what it was like my entire, young life, how bad it sucked going to school and get made fun of your shoes. Yeah. Kids are going to shoes with $500 shoes.
Fake shoes, yeah.
Really bad. Yeah, and I love seeing a real interaction, and it's bringing me, thank you for sharing your stories and your attachment to the shoe, and I know you're proud of me, and I know you guys like what I create, but it's really mean and really honoring to hear you open up, and like you say, you never talked about this before, and that's what it's about in my eyes. It's it's a product, it's a collectible, it resells, sure, whatever, but there's an opportunity to have a human interaction that could turn a negative into a positive.
Yeah.
That's what this world's all about.
No, yeah. For sure. I think that's that's one of the reasons I started this podcast. Like, I felt that's what was missing. Like, we were not having conversations anymore. It was just like, buy a sneaker and then on to the next sneaker. And we're like, the connection, like, we miss the connection, you know? Like, I mean, you know, standing online, being able to make friends, like.
Because everything's so online now, you know, that
Yeah.
getting camp out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of camp outs, to be honest.
I camped out.
Every time I've ever camped out, I've been struck out. So that's why, every time. Because in New York, and I don't know if y'all do this or know about this, if anybody ever camped out, the first person to make the list is the first on the list, and then it's all their friends, and then it'll be eventually be a rule.
What do you mean a list?
See, that's a New York thing.
They like wristbands.
Yeah, it would be like, see, this is the thing in LA though. Somebody would put down their chair and it'd be like a ghost chair and it'd be like,
Oh, y'all got soft up in New York.
Or, yeah, I was like, or it would be really annoying. You'd be camping out all night and someone would be in the front, and then all of a sudden, morning time would hit right before it would open, and like 10 other family members would come out the woodwork.
Well, I guess we can kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
We still got
Keep everyone here too long.
we still got time. A little bit of time, yeah. But
I wanted to ask real quick. What is the trilogy? Does that mean this is the last
yeah.
of such trilogy?
This will be the last and final rivalry that I work on.
Rivalry.
The last and final rivalry that I will work on.
I have a question because we were talking about all of the special boxes and everything, and we've seen the evolution of like your boxes just getting bigger, better, bolder. How do you top this with the next box? Like, what do you?
Or the next shoe.
That's a great question, and I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, I'm just like, I mean, the last one when I was here in March for the Valentine's one, the boxes were absolutely cute, awesome, huge, and then we're getting these jewelry, makeup boxes. You know, I mean, where do we go from there? Not saying you can't do it, absolutely you can, but.
I don't know. It just kind of comes to me. Like I said, I have a lot of mental snapshots in my head of things that I experienced growing up. I have a folder on my computer of like a bunch of pictures that I've saved literally since I was 15 years old of like things that inspired me. And I just call it it just says ideas, that's the name of the folder. Okay. So anytime I see something dope, I usually just throw a JPEG in there. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I do have the next 10 shoe boxes designed already in my head, but we'll see what happens.
The next shoe design?
Yeah.
Oh, I've designed shoes, cars, clothes. I got a podcast. I got a Netflix docuseries.
We're breaking news on the Netflix.
I got a building I'm trying to
there you go.
in my head. Yeah, the Phil universe is definitely always
the Philiverse?
The Philverse is definitely always working on the next thing.
So like, do you want to see more creators like you?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm constantly. That's why I'm not gonna say I pick the little guys to work with, but like, you know, shout out to Chelsea Adidas Marketing. She's here. And
Chelsea.
there's all kinds of like, hey, we have all these big publications that want to work with you now. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. These are all my friends. So we're gonna rock with them first. You know, like. It was like, no, you know, like Cardi without the first.
Can we please talk about that video for a little bit, man? That video made me cry. You know. Yeah.
Same thing. Like we were working on this, we came out with it. Cardi's had my back since day one.
Day one.
I'm gonna have that guy's back too. And my grandma passed and his mom passed, like back to back.
Yeah.
Right around the same time. And we kind of talked to each other like, hey man, like get through this, you know? I think Kari's work is dope. I think he's by far the best person on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, the History Channel. He breaks down the story.
Yeah. And the Easter eggs. He's like,
he's better than anybody. And, you know, he made me through a tough time, and I helped him through a tough time. And just like when I came on Sync for the first time, and had the honor to kick it in your living room, and I was like, yo, I got this shoe called the Piggy Runner. I know it's not like the coolest thing you see right now, but like, heads up, I'm gonna drop this shit, it's gonna blow up. You guys,
it's the best.
Get the first look at it. You know, I told Kari, I was like, yo, you're gonna get the rollout, you get the first like reveal of that, and I definitely want to work with more content creators and up and comers, and then as far as the store goes,
it's not recording.
I definitely be on the catapult to help some of these other accounts or other designers get the opportunity, because I'm constantly advocating to the brand like, hey, we need to like look in Kentucky, we need to look in Indiana, like we need to look in West Virginia.
Yeah.
The world's flat now because of social media in a way.
That's, I agree with that.
So the focus doesn't always have to be New York or LA.
Yeah.
Another question?
We're tapping into smaller creators and stuff too. And that's what this community was built on. Before all this internet stuff, like it was like the in-person interaction. And yeah, we can, you know, continue to the internet now, but that's really what it was before all of this to begin with. That's what blog started off as. Small people, small creators.
Yeah.
Something that they love.
And Ross, you said something earlier about making Cincinnati a destination for people outside the city to come to. And yeah, 1,000,000% right, because this city not only supported me, but it supported other retailers like Corporate and Devereaux, and like all these resale stores that are here, like Soul by Style and stuff. And it's like, the city loves shoes a lot. And we're constantly going to these meetings, and they're like, yo, we're launching this in New York. And it's like, well, you don't understand, like, we legit will have 200, 300 people waiting for this shoe. And I've been told, you know, for years and years and years and years, even after all the Nike collabs and stuff, like, we don't focus on GeoCities. So, like, unless you make your city a GeoCity, we're not going to mess with you. And I was like, all right, well, I will find a brand that will, and I'll make Cincinnati a GeoCity. And all of our launches, we've had people flying from LA, New York, you know, South Africa. And we had a guy for one of the very first releases come in from Japan. And it's like, yeah, it's not 30, 40, 100 people flying from Japan, but one dude did, and that speaks volumes. So,
no, for sure.
I keep digging at that diamond in the ground.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, as we like wind down from, you know, this conversation, I think that like pushing forward, like everybody who's part of this and wants to be part of culture, you know, I think that's the big word, right? Culture, because, you know, we're not just buying sneakers, we are telling stories, we are talking about ourselves, we are pushing this forward.
Creating the moment.
Yeah, we are creating the moments, and you are creating huge moments and honoring, you know, your city, your family, like your life. You know, the only thing we can do is push that for everybody else that's in this crowd or anybody else watching at home. Like, just continue to, if you love this and you love culture, be part of it. You know, don't just jump in, jump out like it's fucking hopscotch, you know what I mean?
Just don't give up on yourself either. Like I said, I'm celebrating 25 years in this game. And 25 years ago, I drew a shoe and pitched it to DC, and, you know, they giggled. When my GSP started, I drew a shoe, I pitched it to them. They giggled. When I heard of Open, I drew a shoe, pitched it to the designer who designed the Boostmate shoe, Danny Kinney, who's the Boostmates is one of the top 10 best-selling shoes at Adidas of all time.
Right.
And he giggled, you know? And now I've got 7 Adidas shoes.
Exactly.
And I always say I'm just getting started. But yeah, definitely the last rivalry.
Definitely the last rivalry.
Well, we on the lookout for the next.
The next is the top 10.
Silhouette.
Last question from me. Is it would it be a whole entire new silhouette that you'd be working with, or would it be something that you've already? Because I mean, is like were all of them the rivalry, and then it was the Addy Cushion 3, or?
Yes, all shoes were the rivalry.
Okay.
I wanted to speak this
That's right.
the
Okay.
rivalry because I was rivaling, a brand. I was rivaling
Yes.
the game. I was rivaling all the haters. And then, when we first started this journey, it was like, hey, here's my shoes I'd like to work with. They're like, yeah, I bet you do. Here's your options. And I was like, all right, I don't want to work on those. How about the rivalry? Like, I really want to do that too. Can I do the rivalry? Like, you're not really doing anything with it. And they're like, sure, if you want to fail miserably.
But I think it was, I mean, obviously you picked it because you knew the shoe, but it fits so well because what we've been seeing with shoes and really go into, I mean, it looks like a skater shoe in my opinion. It has that chunky feeling, and I think a lot of the shoes have gone in that direction in the last years without even knowing that that's where sneakers were going to be going, at the time. So I think, without knowing it, it was a really great choice.
Yeah, I mean, every time I start to play on the computer and color up a shoe, that's the first thing that goes through my head is like, can I skate this shoe?
Yeah.
I try to make the shoe skatable, and that's what really kind of like upset me a little bit on Grandma's Couch 1 and 2 because I never skated leather shoes except for the all white ones when I was really, really young, when I was really little, because that's all I could afford. So I slept with it, we moved forward with it because, it did come out really good. My grandma said, well, your mom had a leather couch, and I was like, all right, you're kind of right. So we moved forward with the leather. But every time we go to work on a shoe, we definitely, is this skatable? Even the Piggy Runner is skatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you currently skate in any of them?
No, I'm sure I can't even walk straight. Everybody's like, why are you limping? And it's like, because I try to keep up with my friend Frog over there and Rob Durack all those years. And, I just shoot a body, and that's why I walk with a limp every day. But no, I'm fully retired. I do dream about it every night, and I do have a lot of FOMO that I can't really go out and skate my own shoe. We try to do a little promo clip of a crooked grind and a couple kick flips to fakie on a bank. And I literally couldn't walk for like a week. And I was really terrified if I'd go back into it and really go for it, that I'm going to try and get clips again and try and get footage again. And I think that's why I'm going to go pro stuff now. Yeah, I do want to go pro, and I even come close.
Yeah.
Some of my best friends became pro, became some of the best skaters in the industry, but that's who I rode with, and that's what I put my body through. So it's just best to stay off the board and just look. I'll admit, I look like a poser. I'll be the poser. Screw it.
Is there any skaters around the city that we should be looking at?
Oh yeah, Milo Cursa, Julian's ripping right now.
We're gonna get an unheard of tape.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if they want to make it, I'll obviously back it.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it should be organically, is let the kids do it.
Yeah.
Because these people are really out there living it day to day, being chased by cops, or, in the hood getting, with buggies thrown at them or something, and
Yeah.
I don't have time to go out there and film them and produce a whole video, but if they want to produce it, we obviously are supporting them. And then we also support any kind of person that wants to get board for the first time. We're like, how much you got? $20? Cool. We'll ride it.
Yeah.
We're not the shop that is we gotta rip and gotta be on the team to shop here. We definitely hey, if you want to talk skate, we can talk skate. If you want to talk, lifestyle runner shoes, we can talk shoes. We're open to everybody. And that's how I always was at skate parks.
Awesome. I love that. So I think we're definitely towards the end of it,
Thank God.
We're definitely have to run this back in the studio for me and you, and we got to run this back as well. I think this was extremely fun. If you guys have not checked this out, or this is the first time you're seeing us, definitely hit your ads.
Social media platforms, podcasts, Instagram.
I am Bruce Haas on social media. Follow the podcast at My First Kicks Pod. If you want to watch this, hopefully this will be up tomorrow. youtube.com/@myfirstkicks. Phil?
I'm Philip Lipschultz at Unheard Brand. Hit us up. Buy something.
Buy something. Buy the shirt. All right. Then we have a Q&A. Anybody want to ask some questions?
No one?